Hi everyone, this is Bitcoin. As usual, weekly update more on trend, but also we'll look at lower scale uh, to see what is happening internally within the day. Usually, the intraday is noisy, but sometimes we can quickly have a look to see what it is doing. But as far as trend is concerned, this is not the right scale or time frame. So I'm going to start today with 4 hour. Now we had a couple of calls this week to go through what is happening. There are three factors. One is the macro factor, which is beyond crypto. You see the impact on stock market, and the primary drivers. People say it's about September and all. Of course, yes. We cannot deny the historical data that September is not so good for even equity, and also for crypto. So I take that, but it is not just about September. I hope it is about September, but I think there are some major macro factors. Firstly, the crackdown in China. Secondly, the big companies like Evergrande, we saw people. We don't know the exposure of American companies, and also, I mean, in general, Western companies, because these are like too big to fail. Now, why I'm saying this when this is about crypto, because I don't think crypto is decoupled from great overall capital market. Early days it was okay because everything was retail, hardly any investment funds or invest in big pocket used to invest, especially from Wall Street and all. But these days things are changed. So for them, it is about 2%, 5%, whatever, 1% of crypto. And usually when they reduce across the board. If they plan to reduce and go for cash, they cut down all their asset by certain percentage, and that kind of action hurts crypto as well. We saw this in last year when February, March month, what happened. Crypto and stock market both went down. So these are macro factor. I'm not saying that it's going to happen tomorrow, but we have to be watchful. And at this moment, the stock market losing value, and it's not a surprising to me. We called out that one, and it's like next week and probably couple of weeks we will closely monitor it. So as far as trend is concerned, I think I have little concern. I mean, not little concern. I have concern over stock market and impact on crypto, and that's why this week I was very cautious about too much of exposure on crypto. um, it is okay to be conservative. It is okay to have a closer stop loss. It is okay to book a little bit of profit, if your coin is not doing well. If your coin is doing well, then enjoy it. We'll talk about that as well. But point is, at least everyone should have a plan. So let's come back to the Bitcoin now, right? So these are macro factors like that are likely to impact crypto as a whole. So starting with Bitcoin, what I see here on 4 hour is this is a nice move. Then it could not break above the resistance zone, and then came down. But the good news is this support was able to defend it, and then gave a bounce. But this bounce has no energy, and also this is weekend. There is no stock market. There is no driver as such. um, so I don't know right now. As I said, I would like to couple this move because I've been watching it. Bitcoin is kind of closely following Nasdaq and index in general, stock index in general. So until and unless I see complete decoupling, which I will see. I the kind of drop I see, I need to have a pump like that. then I'll believe that this is a really breakout. This is not breakout. This is just a bounce. This is just defense. So um, I'm trying to be, I'm trying to portray the the current picture. In reality, nobody knows the future, but this is my interpretation that right now this is surviving mode. It means it's not crashing at this moment, but at the same time we cannot say it is out of risk. This is my required level, which is 49700, and this was prior support, right? We saw how it reacted near this support, rejection, then support, and then ultimately it broke below. And now it is slowly climbing up, right? You can draw a trend line like this, very simple technique, and you can see that it got rejected by this trend line as well. And then you may draw like this, very simple wedge kind of a thing, and then you can say, okay, now it is now consolidating under this rising wedge. Now, so this area, you see this area right from current level or to this level is kind of a area where we should see decision whether it's upside or downside. Once it breaks above 50K, like 49,700, then I'm not worried. Then I'll turn off the risk alert. Right now, the risk alert is on, and I'm going to keep it on unless I see this green level is broken above. Now, what happens with alt? We'll talk about it, but generally, alt will just do fine when the Bitcoin moves sideways or even make an upside move. Alt, alts are ready to move up. At the same time, when the Bitcoin drops even 1%, usually 3% I observe, but 1 to 3% is not a big deal for alts. Anything above 3% from Bitcoin is a big deal for alts. But what I see here, even 1% of drop is a big deal for alts in current situation, if you notice. So that has been a behavior, and I would say the my stand is, uh, as long as BTC maintains this level and doesn't break below, just you may enjoy, but keep an eye on Bitcoin, not on your alts. Alts are not going to do different when the Bitcoin goes down. I mean, it's not going to diverge, unlikely, right? So this is slow progress, you may say, but the progress without any conviction. So that's my stand at this moment, and the whole entire zone is a resistance zone, and this height is not good enough. We need more. So this is 4 hour. Let me zoom out. The 1 day, yeah, well, let's zoom out to 1 day scale. The 1 day is good because of last night's bounce. I would not say pump because there's no way it's pumping. This is positive. I wouldn't deny that fact that this is positive and very encouraging also, right? But this is not good enough. This is something similar to this one. So I explained the fractal nature of this, that how, if you look at it, I was comparing this big peak with this peak, with this and this and so on. So the overall arch with this arch, and then a drop like this drop, and then this consolidation and so on. So usually patterns are, it's not that each and every turn would be identical. The fractal is a repetition of the previous pattern, um, maybe not at a smaller scale, but it is about to get an idea of what it is doing. Not necessarily each and every tweaks and turns are identical, right? Now So this is the lowest level pattern, and now it requires little push, as we talked about. I mean, as I mentioned. So once it breaks above our 50K level, then we are out of this mess, and then looking for this level 60K, because then I think once it reaches this level, it may spend some time. That's all right. What is important, it should get out from here, right? So this is the number one condition for us to say that okay, now it wants to continue uptrend. For now, my stand is a little different. As I mentioned this week, few calls that um, it is close to 49,700. So it's welcome move. This last night's move was welcome move, but I would like to be neutral at this moment. I was more bearish yesterday, but this move is encouraging, so I'm neutral, and I'll say okay, now we are out of the risk once it breaks above the green level we talked about. Anyway, so that's my take at this moment. On a higher scale candle level, there's no sign of weakness. This weekly candle is looking good actually. Um, right, this is good halfway. So there is nothing to worry on a weekly scale. Today is Saturday, so that's positive. So I think recent move has made a major difference here, and that's encouraging to me now. So bigger picture, bearish scenario that I was talking about is about this descending channel, where this bounce may not continue, and in that case it will make a new low in mid 30s. It could come mid 30s and then try to break above. If it fails, then it will go below 29K. So from a scenario, this is very crowdy. It's from a scenario point of view, if this comes down to this level mid 30s, then it could go up. What I'm seeing here is potentially this pattern should actually continue, not in the same way, but like something could continue. I should not say should continue. Only like this, under this one, like something like this. Yeah, so this something like this created nice symmetry, and then shoot up, right, like this. So in that case, next, hard to say how much time, but September, October, if this happens, then then September, October may not be good for long position. They might be good for short positions. And I think I'll talk about short as well. So at this moment, this is a scenario. So yeah, of course, this continues, then this won't happen. These the two scenarios were discussed even earlier also. I think I'm not saying anything new here, but I had removed those drawings. So I'll make this different color. Yeah. So either it continues on the upside like the way it is moving up, and then that's it. Maybe not this week, next week. So maybe I'll move on the side, or it will just continue. It will get rejected here and then go down and then try to climb up. And these are the supports. If this support is broken below, so when arch is ending, it can end anywhere in this range. This is not an exact price level. When it comes closer, when it happens, I'll let you know, right? At this moment, this is just a drawing, and when it comes closer, I'll tell you when it is near support. Anyway, so if bearish scenario point of view, if sub S3 would be very critical. If this is broken below, then this structure is at risk, total risk. And in that case, it will create a descending triangle, which is for now it's just a scenario, but it will create a descending triangle like this. Not a perfect one. Yeah, I think not bad. Something like this. So in this descending scenario, maybe these are very noisy in terms of visualization. Just move them. Okay. Yeah, let's remove this. So this is weekly layer. So the weekly, what we don't want is price to come down to this region around 30K, because then it will be very weak in my point of view. I have seen that even if it comes down to this level, there are bounces, good bounces in for various coins in past. But the point is, uh, this edge, lower edge, will be very critical. I'm talking about trend level scenario where trend would end, simply end, and then it will enter into bearish trend for a longer time. So in that case, if this line is broken below, then it will go down even further, right? So at this moment, that's not happening. So I won't spend much of a time. But when we talk about scenario, I would like to touch base all the scenarios, right? So the best case is it continues going up in this direction, and next week hopefully breaks above the green level. Next week we'll also have to see how stock market reacts. I heard the news that Evergrande got some help, around 13-14 billion dollars of help from Chinese government, and maybe Chinese government could improve. Who knows? I mean, we don't know about that country much internally, what happens and all. But that's the only concern I have. If that stock market related correction and other macro factors that I mentioned are not happening, I would not be this serious, to be honest. I'm a little more serious. When I say serious, means cautious. I think that's the right word. I'm more cautious, or you may say I'm. It's not passive. I'm not being pessimist, because my decisions are level based. If this level is broken above, we are good for the next level. Similarly, if the support is broken below, then we are looking for. So I'm not kind of a person who would say I'm taking the side. My side is level dependent, a conditional. So as soon as the green level is broken above, then I would not talk about any bearish scenario. At this moment, I'm talking about it because of the factors that I mentioned. Also, there is no help from volume. Volume is declining. Now, the declining volume simply means that um, this is under consolidation. So declining volume doesn't mean at this scale that there is anything negative. What is important is when it breaks above the consolidation, it should rise. That's a condition. Uh, okay, so this is weekly, right? So let me hide drawings. So what we don't want is if Bitcoin coming down to this level. I think that's the only macro level risk you may think of. Okay. Now there are stages. So I would not, that's not a financial advice, but you can treat all this support as your guide and say if the supports are broken, you have opportunity to reduce or book profit if you have longer term horizon and you don't care about this kind of a drop, then you don't have to do anything. But supports are available for you, and these supports are not just for Bitcoin, but these supports can be used for your alts as well, right? So you can say, if this level is broken below, then I'll do something. If this is broken below, I'll do something. If this is broken below, I'll do something, and so on. So these supports can be used for your planning if you think it makes sense, and if it has to come down, and you can always and re-enter. So, but the key message is, never take extreme steps where you assume that it's going to break down and sell 100%. I think that's a mistake. I would never do that. Even personally, I have reduced, I have added also yesterday night after um, seeing this one, but that is straight. I'm conditional. I'm just taking advantage of this move, but no way. I had to put stop loss, which is for me it's a big deal. Yeah, last night I put stop loss after many weeks. Otherwise I don't put my stop loss, because the same point, I mean, same reason, that I wasn't sure if this bounce is good enough overnight. I don't know what if the, you know, what if it goes down, and I didn't want to expose my position, long position, right? So I did enter, but with a stop loss. And yeah, so, and I'm going to keep it stop loss. But now during the day, I would use alert, and if it goes down, I'll start reducing, and so on. So that's the game plan, right? From risk management point of view. Okay, so I think some of you joined just now. I'll just show you 4 hour again. Right now, there is a rising wedge. I don't rely too much on a wedge. I'll tell you why. Because if it breaks above this one, so the upper edge will change to, this angle. For example, if it breaks above, then you may say, oh, it's good news. The If it touches this level, then you would say, okay, this is good news, the wedge is broken above. But the thing is, wedge still can extend like this. So I don't like the wedge pattern too much, but this I'm just drawing for, because that's how it is currently. But the point is, the wedge doesn't tell you that if the wedge is broken above, we are good. See, if this is the wedge, if it breaks above and pauses here, what happens is your wedge would become wider and longer. But wedge doesn't disappear. So that's the tricky part of wedge. So that's why they are unreliable from a breakout point of view. So it's okay from a pattern point of view. You can say this is moving under a wedge. Definitely, you see this. If you look at this wave, let me draw this one like this with a different color, maybe light blue, and then you see this how the this is getting smaller. Maybe there is one more push and then decision. So this could be the decisive point. See, if it is stabilizing here, that means it may try to make another move, and then this is going to be the important one, in my opinion. You see, this is what is happening. uh this particular last 4 hour telling me that it doesn't want to go down. The consolidation is telling me that there could be one more push, and that push would touch 49K in this range, and that would be very critical range, or area, I would say, that we should be tracking, right? So there could be one more push. Anyways, so that's too low level, I mean too detail. We for us at this moment, it's consolidating here. I would say from risk point of view, if it starts breaking below this 46,950, or maybe, you know what, I can little bit adjust here, um, and give a range, because this was the low, and there's no harm in adjusting a bit. 680. So you 680. So you can set your alert at 46680, because if this is broken below, then we are saying that the whole entire wave that you see from here to here is gone. Okay, so what we don't want is this price to come below this level. It is okay if it spends time some here, and it may spend whole entire Sunday in this region, because it might be wait for the futures. So the futures, today is Saturday, tomorrow futures, so we have around, I would say, around 32 hours from now, roughly speaking. And then, so maybe for 32 hours it might spend some time in this region, and then take a clue from futures, and then decide. So that's what I'm expecting at this moment. If it breaks above this level and reaches this, then it will be a big surprise for me. It will be a welcome move. Why not? But it will be a big surprise for me, being a TA. Okay, being a trader, I'll be happy, because I would prefer long positions. In fact, I cannot have short position being in the United States. Big limitation. But what can we do? Anyway, so uh, yeah. So next 232 hours could be dull, but this is about Bitcoin. We'll look into the alts and see. Even Bitcoin is dull, alts are going to go up, because alts don't mind if BTC is dull. Totally fine. Alts don't care. They mind only if BTC goes down. Right. So these are different point of view. So I think I covered at a low scale, higher scale. Then of course this is condition for the uptrend, right? And then different support level for risk management. And I think I explained this fractal as well, this wedge, and then dependency on a macro factor as well. So, and then I zoomed out at a weekly scale, and explain how these supports are important, and why this region is important, why we don't want this price to be in this region, because these are the supports, and we don't want another hit will make this support very weak. That's what happens. You don't want multiple hits, because there were enough here. It comes down to here, that means the risk is high. This level is for a trend level alert. Okay, all this alert could be for, you may say, for major move, because for us this could be like 20% drop, 30% drop. Even if it goes down to mid 30s, it could be 40% drop. But I think this level is about the trend itself. It's about this bull run itself, which we saw. So for example, so this is the beginning, and this was the major consolidation. Ignore this one, because this is COVID fall. This is much more severe than probably it should have been. So this is an exception to me, because of a global condition. But as far as otherwise, this could have been little like this correction, and then consolidation, and then continuation. So similarly, this is a major consolidation, very positive. And if it goes up, then the next level is 80K. Very simple, and much more, because this is going to provide a good platform for it to continue moving up. So in that case, we do have positive case. We just need this 50K level, that's it. And we are close, but we don't want to assume anything until we see it. That's my stand. And if this is broken below, then really we are in trouble. That means this whole entire wave is at trouble. Then we are talking about 18K kind of a level, you know. We'll talk about that later. This is far-fetched. We don't have to talk about that now. At this moment, we are here, and weekly is positive and looking good. and these are the support levels, and we'll talk about it when if it comes down. I think, yeah, that's the summary. Let me open it for your question if there are any questions from your end. Thanks, thanks everyone.